Hey YouTube, I decided that I'm going to do my silly talk for ages video. Don't know how long I'll do it for, but it's playing keyboard this week. Aye. So, what was I going to say? Don't know what I've been doing today. Today I made another Buckfast pedal. This one here, as you can see, it's basically a Marshall foot switch that I sellotaped a Bucky label to. Added some stuff on the back, so it's got bats in it. Actually, what happened was I typed in battery and managed to spell it wrong, so I just cut off the bit that said there's not 2 hours in battery. Yeah, so this is for the double neck guitars, which it's one of those things that all the double necks I've got, like for example this one. I feel naked standing here without a guitar on, so I'll put one on. This one, right? So this works for this one and my double neck guitar and bass, because I've got an issue, or everyone's probably got an issue with playing an acoustic through an electric amp or playing an electric through a PA. Neither of those sound good, so you kind of have to choose one or the other. So I've just been putting 2 outputs on these. So the acoustic, it's got its own wee tone control and volume control here, and its own output. You stick that into one amp, and then you've got the electric guitar with its volume control, tone control, and a phase coil split switch. Comes out this output, goes into your electric amp. The way I've been using it, I've been plugging my loop pedal, which you probably can't see just behind where it's got the time counter there, is a stereo one. I bought a stereo one because I was into synths and they're stereo, so it worked. That's how I was running it. I was running the acoustic into the bass amp, the electric into the wee Laney. So what this switch does is it's got 2 ins and 2 outs, and the bat is for a battery, so it's got a light on it. So that basically means that you're on whatever you've got plugged into the left, and if you put to that side, you've got whatever plugged into the right. Pretty simple. I put a switch on because I didn't want the battery to run out. I think it's the sort of battery that will probably last forever. All you're doing is powering one LED at a time. It's not exactly big drain. I might put like a Boss adapter so you can run it off like a daisy chain or something, but it still works when the light's not on. And I was figuring this, I don't really have double necks set up all the time. What I was thinking was it'd be pretty cool, which I didn't do, was putting like a Y thing in it, so that if you had this and only 1 amp, you know, imagine having 1 amp, then it would just join the 2 of them together, and to get like a good balance between the 2, which is what you can't really do if you've just got 1 output on the guitar. You know, I've got 2 outputs on the guitar. I could run the acoustic into whatever acoustic preamp pedal or whatever I want, and then into this, and in the electric I could have like a rat pedal running into this, so you could sort of, if you were playing through 1 amp, you could have the 2 paths very different before they go into this pedal, or actually after this pedal. Doesn't really make any difference. So that would give you, you know, like it would help basically, rather than just, because if you plug both an electric and an acoustic, or an electric and a bass straight in together, there's a huge volume difference and stuff, and you kind of, it doesn't really work. You need to have something to shape the 2 to make them sound better. So that's what this is. I was going to put the Y thing in it so you could use it in 1 amp, but I decided I've actually got an ABY pedal which would just do that. So you just run the 2 of these out into an ABY pedal, and they'll join the 2 together, rather than actually trying to work out some way of doing it with this, because I need another switch or something. I could maybe make the battery switch do it, so you could either have oh no, if I did it with a 3-way switch, right, if I did it with a 3-way switch I could do that. That means I could have, in the middle would be battery off, and in this mode one side would be battery on and the same as it is, and the other side would be battery on, and instead of having 2 outputs, it's only got 1 output, so you could feed it into 1 amp. That's why actually I said on the way in you could have like a rat pedal in front of the guitar and a EQ pedal or nothing in front of the acoustic. Yeah, so that's the half a dozen Marshall foot switches I got are gradually getting sold to me. I'm just building pedals that I want. The last one I did was, I don't know if you can see down there, it's just a loop pedal with it's the back of a Bucky label, sellotape to that one. I've got that with these 3 pedals, which are sort of older and a bit noisier, rather than all the other ones which are true bypass. So it's got its own wee sort of, it's basically just a true bypass loop. Now I've got this to run the double necks, which will work on, in fact it'll work on, I've got a hybrid, look at this Kramer, I think I picked up last week actually. This Kramer's got a piezo bridge on it and a second output, so same thing with this. I could run two cables, having one going into, you could even have one going into the clean channel in your amp and one going into the dirty channel in your amp or whatever, but it would be the same as this. This would do the job of switching the two of them off. I was really just thinking more along the lines of, it means you don't have to hit the volume. You know, if you capture a big chord on this and then go straight onto electric, you've got to turn the volume down on this so it's not ringing when you're playing the electric, and you've got to turn the volume up on the electric, and then vice versa. So it just makes it quicker to switch between the necks with your foot. And you just prepare stomp, stomp. I was actually thinking, I haven't done it, because I've got stereo. It wouldn't work in stereo anyway, so it'd be completely pointless. I'll do it for a laugh at some point. You know the Led Zeppelin song, What Is and What Should Never Be? It goes dun 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 dun, like in stereo. You could do that with that switch, with my bass amp and my wee Laney. But I haven't done that. Yeah, I've got another guitar in as well for. I've lent my pal actually. I know my pal's just started up his own YouTube channel, T-Gun music channel. If I remember, I'll stick a link down. I don't know if you can see that in the corner. He's kind of doing pedal videos, which I'm not really that into pedals. I mean, yeah, okay, I do have a pile on the floor, but I've only got one of each. I've got a GP chorus, a GP tremolo, a GP delay, two fuzzes, and a few distortions. That's kind of it. I'm not really. This guy's mad into his pedals. You know, he's got drawers. Oh, fuzz switch one we're using. He's got about 6. Whatever floats your boat. I bought more guitars rather than buying more pedals. But that's probably just more of what I want to play. I kind of want to play and sound a bit like, you know, John Fogerty or Tony Iommi, somewhere in that sort of range. Not really interested in doing anything else. This guy's into shoegaze, you call it, music, which I don't really understand. But it involves an awful lot of effects pedals. Sounds pretty good though. So check him out. I'll stick a link down in the bottom down there if I remember. I keep forgetting to do stuff like that. So I got onto comments. I don't think there's really that many. You seem to know a lot about these early 80s washburns. Have you ever seen a neck through body version of the Force 2? That's pretty much washburn geeky talk. I know I've never heard of such a thing. There is a neck through, which is the same shape, like a bass. I think it's an SB40 it's called, which is basically kind of like that, apart from the Force shape. The Force is, hold on, bear with me for 2 seconds, I'm pretty sure I know exactly where this is. The Force being this shape, which I've still not actually done a video for this bass, but I took this into the studio. I was back in the studio with After the End, Black Sabbath band, and I had this in it. And it was amazing. I absolutely love this bass. It's brilliant. I don't know if it's maybe got slightly lighter strings on it. I think we were maybe playing a bit slower because it's the first time we've been playing for, you know, since February or something like that. In fact, it's the first time since the gig, which was a couple of days before Baby Metal. But I found I was bending notes a bit more on this bass than I have been in other ones. So this is basically just an excuse to bring this out. I do need to do a video for this. I've got a couple of Washburn videos to do to the guy who was talking about Washburns. This is getting shinier as I do it. It just seems to be the more evenings I spend polishing it, the more acceptable it's beginning to look. So it's now sort of matte but getting shinier. The more I do this, I think this is going to be a beautiful bass when it's done. It's neck through. Really looking forward to getting this going. Not really looking forward to doing the big Washburn video. It seems very penultimate. You know, it's like I don't know that much. I maybe have to write stuff down and work out exactly how I'm going to do it. But even just looking at myself in the video there playing this is good. This thing just looks absolutely stunning. So tonight I'm basically going to sit. I might even have a bottle of Bucky and sit and just polish this all night. The more I polish it, the better it seems to get. So I'm really looking forward to getting that particular bass up and running. Well, while I'm here, there was a guy who was interested in buying the Scavenger off me, or interested in getting a Scavenger bass as the my scavenger bass. One of the tuners has burst. I broke it at the gig I did about a year ago. That shows you how much too many basses I've got. This was my favourite bass. These are excellent. I was just to say, if you're interested in one of these, my pal, as I said, someone was interested in buying mine. I said, no, my pal Ivor has one. And Ivor came over yesterday and borrowed my 8-string bass and dropped it off, and then the guy decided he didn't want it. So there's one of these, which is basically like this. It's a bit dirty. This one's cleaner and has a broken tuner. His has got the original tuners. So if anyone's interested in a scavenger bass, I've got one down next door, up for sale. I think he's wanting about 150 quid for it, which is a total steal for like an 80s washburn. You know, that's kind of. And these things are awesome. They're really heavy though, but fantastic basses. I really like this. It was just I needed to have the vulture there to have the full wings set, which I was going for. But yeah, good fun. Right, so I suppose we'll go on for 11 minutes. This is only going to be 20 minutes long. I think this one is not going to be a long one. I don't have that much. I said, and that guy was saying there about the forces, which I'll get onto when I do a force video, because I've now got a force 2. I've got 2 force 2s, a force 3 and a force 4 that's in bits, and a force 8, which is the blue one there. So that's kind of getting towards most of the force set. There's one that's got an active EQ in it, but apart from that, I think that's pretty much the whole set. So it's like in completing the wing set, I've kind of almost completed the force set as well. The stage set, I need an A20, but they're expensive. I don't have one. Yeah. Oh, that's people talking about that. If you saw the Muse guitar, which I did the other day, and the blue LED light round it, can't work out how to fix it. It's just annoying. I think it's just one of those things that I was talking to the chap who owns the guitar, and he looked up the official thing that you actually get on the Manson guitar, and it's 150 quid for the blue light. So I'd imagine he probably spent like a 10 or 20 quid on some sort of Christmas tree decoration type thing, as opposed to being like the one that doesn't interfere with your pickups. So that's not. I might get that back actually and have another blast at it, see if there's some other way to run whatever kind of electrics it was. Interested. There's someone going to buy the Mosky rat pedal, which is good. My only complaint about it thus far is which I might be able to solve just by tightening up a socket set. The input's a bit wobbly on it now, but I mean, I think that's just, to be honest, it probably just needs the spanner tightened up. I've not bothered doing it. It's been annoying me for months now. Ibanez bass was an excellent bass. I just didn't really like the look of it. All right, the boiling the pickup thing. I don't know if you saw about that. It was a Hot Rails. It was in a silver Strat that the same guy with the Muse guitar had, and it was super mega microphonic. So basically, whenever you plugged it into the guitar and you touched the body, dong dong like that. And so I said, right, I've got another Hot Rail pickups microphonic. So I got the other Hot Rail ready, took it out, couldn't get the plastic cover, the silver cover on it, couldn't get that off. So I thought, right, well, I'll try sticking it in boiling water, maybe that'll melt the glue. Which it probably did a bit, but when I put it in, I started noticing there was bubbles coming out from inside the coils. And I thought, actually, what's causing it to be microphonic is the wax has probably come off one of the windings on the pickup. So by boiling it, those bubbles came out, the air bubbles came out, probably squished it back on again, and it appears to have done that. So there's a tip for if you've got microphonic pickups. The idea of wax potting, it seems quite messy. I've not actually done that before, but sticking it in boiling water seems to have melted it back together again. Yeah, maybe not the most technical answer, but I was talking to the guitarist, and after the end actually, he was saying that he uses a hairdryer when he buys pickups, takes them to bits and changes the magnets on them, and he heats it up with a hairdryer to try and do that same sort of idea, kind of melting the wax round. It just fills in. If one of the windings has come loose of the pickup, that's what causes it to be microphonic. So there's maybe elements of trying to do that, hairdryer action, and failing that, go for boiling it or sticking it in boiling water and actually boil the pickup. Yeah, I think there's not really so many questions. Give me more questions. I said someone asked me something like where I can get these guitars cheap. I was talking about the Westone Spectrums, which if you're in the UK, if you look on eBay, you can pick them up pretty much all the time for about 150 quid, and that was what I was saying, it's the best cheap guitar. This guy seems to have misinterpreted that and said they're not cheap, they're really good, and it's like no, they're cheap and really good. But that, I think he said he was from Texas or something, so maybe he didn't quite understand my accent. But yes, you do get Spectrums. If you're in America, they're not cheap. They're priced probably where they should be, but Westone had a big, they were really popular in the UK in the early 80s. I think they really hit it hard. There's an awful lot of adverts and a lot of shops sold them, and to be honest, the prices at what they were coming in at for such a high level guitar was unheard of at the time. I think everybody shat it basically. All the other guitar companies shat it, but when Westone came out with the Thunder, the original Thunder, because I think it was like about 150 quid, and it just is a better guitar than what other people were producing for 350, 400 quid sort of thing. So you're getting a guitar that's as good as, you know, the base model Strat or whatever it is, but it's a quarter of the price. And it's like, so America didn't have Westone the same way we did. They kind of had a brand called Electra, which wasn't exactly all the same models, but some of them are very similar, and I think there's a couple that are exactly the same. I've definitely seen an Electra one that's exactly the same as one of the Spectrums from that era. So if you're in America, then Westones are probably a bit harder to get, and they're probably a bit more expensive because of that. But it rounds off because you can get washburns cheaper than I can. So, you know, I can get Westones cheap. You can get, we'll maybe do some sort of deal, but then you're talking about, as soon as you put shipping on it, it becomes not cheap anymore. Yeah, that's quite a long conversation I ended up having with him. Someone tell me about I notice I've got a lot of double cuts. Has anyone heard about Epiphone Spirit? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it's not the quality issues I have with Epiphone. It's the fact that they're much more expensive, and I'm a cheapie. My pal's got an Epiphone Scroll, which I actually did a video of it maybe a year ago, something like that. And yes, excellent. You know, it's a Matsumoto built guitar. I don't know why I'm pointing at the Washburns. Washburns weren't made by Matsumoto, but Westones and Arias and stuff were. So it's one of them. It's brilliant, but because it's branded Epiphone, it's twice the price of a very similar guitar made by Aria or Westone or something like that. So that's kind of why I don't have any of the Epiphones. This is Epiphone before the modern Epiphones. These aren't, you know, this is before Epiphone just made like Les, you know, they didn't make Les Pauls and SGs and stuff. They made this guitar called a Scroll, which actually is a really cool, it's called a Scroll because in the top cut it's got like a bit like, it sort of looks like a wee bit at the end of a banister, like a scroll piece of woodwork type thing on it. Very, very pretty guitar and very good, but unfortunately they're too expensive for me. I'm sitting there looking at it going, they're spending £500 or £600 on a guitar, when I could buy ultimately, maybe not one exactly the same, but one the same build quality with very similar parts and stuff for, you know, half that. If I get an Aria or Vantage or any one of the other ones. I think that might actually be. Oh, that was the last one I wanted to do was the RGX A2. This one, which is the one that I put I put a push pull coil split in, and also it lights up. Do I have a lead? There was a wee connector thing. If I stick a lead in, you can see. Yeah. So as stock, these come. If I can put this somewhere you can see it. Yeah, so as stock, these come with a blue light to tell you that it's the bridge pickup, a green light to tell you it's the neck pickup. This is a rotary switch and for both of them. This is a 3-way rotary switch. There's no tone control on this guitar. And I put in a coil split, so when you pull it up, it coil splits the two pickups, and when you push it down, it makes them both humbuckers and turns on the yellow light, the orange light. I think it said it was yellow in the packet that I bought, but it's actually, I'd definitely say that was orange, not yellow. Yeah, so just a quick talk about how that works. Coil splitting is exactly what you would expect. What you do is you take the terminals, the switch has got 6 terminals on it, yeah. So when it's down, depending on how you're looking at it. I'm looking at it as a pot at the bottom. So when you pull it up, it connects these two. When you push it down, it connects these two. Is basically what it does. So the way to get the light to work is you stick the volume control on as normal, and the middle two terminals you run to earth. Yeah, or ground if you're American. The bottom two, which are the ones that when you pull it up, connect, are your two the middle wires from the two pickups. I keep calling them tap wires, the split wires, the wire that goes between the coils. That one. The third wire goes on to the bottom two terminals. So when you've got it pulled up, connecting the bottom two, I keep doing this with my fingers, connecting those two, you're earthing the middle points of both the pickups. That gives you your coil split, and you run the negative, right, of your new LED, your orange one, through it runs from the negative. It runs from the top, one of the top thingies. So when you've connected these two up, which is when you've got it, the coil split in, it also connects up the yellow light bulb to the battery. So you get the battery, the earth is the battery, the black on the batteries on earth anyway, and then you take the other one to, you use that as the earth for the new light bulb. It's a very simple circuit. I asked for a description, but it's not really. I can't really give you it's not difficult enough. Basically, the actual wiring circuit for the LEDs is, you've got your rotary switch and you can see what it's choosing, and it just sends the signal, the positive for the battery to either the blue light or the red light, the blue light or the green light, depending on which one it goes to. And the circuit board consists of a circuit board with like two wires going into it, two or three wires going into it, one for each light bulb, and then one coming out and for the earth, and a resistor and two LEDs. That's it. To get the orange light fitting in here, I had to Dremel a bit out of the rotary switch just so you could poke it in, and it's just basically sellotaped on. I don't know how long it will stay there. I might have to try and find a more permanent solution to, maybe if I glued it on or something like that. So it's just basically just an LED with a resistor on it, sellotaped to the inside of the pot to make it light up. It's a great mod for one of these guitars. I want another one of these. I nearly bought one during the week there, and I forgot about it, and the one the day before was a Yamaha RGX2 something, and it had like it was actually not a entirely dissimilar shape, but it was like a maybe late 80s, early 90s Ibanez RG looking thing, but it had a humbucker and one single coil, like at an angle, and it looked really cool. And I wish I'd bought it. I meant to. I'm just assuming that for some reason the gods didn't want me to buy it, so there must be something coming my way that I've got to buy instead of that. Something that's the same but better, is my way of looking at it. But I'm tempted to get another one of these, just to do this mod to it, because it makes such a big difference, and then just sell it on. I mean, these don't go for very much money, considering what they are. I mean, sound wise and playability wise, it's just totally unbeatable. It's coming in as one of my favourite guitars, and also one I wouldn't be that worried about because it's relatively easy to replace. A lot of these ones, it's like, I would maybe never find another one, or I would if I was willing to pay top money for it. But even I don't even know if there are. I mean, how often do you see like a White Eagle? I mean, the last couple I've seen have been like £1,000. Don't know whether they sold or not, but they're not there anymore. So whatever they sold for, even if you had £1,000, I'm not sure. Well, you could probably buy that one off me, to be honest. But would I sell it for £1,000? That would just put. Don't offer me that. So there you go, 25 minutes, not a long one. I did a video earlier on this afternoon, which I'll probably just have uploaded just before this one has, the Gothic SG. So if you want more talking nonsense, I've probably forgotten about 20 other things. Oh, aye, the chap there I was talking about, the T-Gun Music channel, I said, you might want a shot of this. So I've not even had a look at it yet. It's a Yamaha Revstar, but already it's a Yamaha, so it's amazing. This is an RS420. So 4 being about 400 quid, 2 being 2 humbuckers, and 0 being no single coils. But this looks nice. Actually, it feels quite similar to that my AEX520 up there, which is a sort of I call it a jazz guitar, but it's not really a jazz guitar. It's kind of not really. It's very similar feeling to this actually. I wonder what it sounds like. But I mean, I like Yamahas. They're good. And one of the things about Yamaha is they never really got rubbish. So it's not like Washburn where you go, oh, when's it from? That's a big difference. You know, it's like if you've got like an early 80s one, they're built by this factory, and then sort of a slightly later 80s one is built by that Chushin factory, and then after that they're sort of Korean, and then they're Chinese, and then they're all these things make huge differences to it. Whereas Yamaha, although they started off in Japan and they do make them in different countries, this one is an Indonesian one. Yamaha had their own factories, so the differences between levels isn't as big on Yamaha. They're always good. They're always just as well built, pretty much. They also they use higher grade woods and higher grade components on the more expensive guitars, but even the cheapy ones are good. Not that I'm saying this is a cheapy one. Not really sure what I think about this. Style wise, what does it look like? I don't really know. Kind of maybe a wee bit like a Yamaha SG sort of thing. Sort of retro. He said something about it's actually got a bass roll-off pot, rather than like a tone control. So I need to have a look at that. I bought myself a new multimeter this week. This one, a bigger one. This one does capacitance as well as, but what they normally do. And I'm not so proud to admit that it took me all night to work out how to get the bloody battery cover off to put a 9-volt battery in. It's like if you buy one of these, it's great. They're really cheap, but it's like the battery cover. It was so tight, you just can't get it off. I ended up going at it with pliers and that. Just having it, I was considering dremeling out the back of it just so I could get into it to stick a battery in it. But now I've got the capacitance tester. I will be checking the capacitance of whatever it is that bass control thing is on that, and if it's good, I will be able to fit that to other guitars, and I'll probably stick it in a pedal. These pedals are, as I said, there's not going to be very many of them. I was thinking at one point there'll be 10 Bucky pedals all doing different things. There's not going to be 10 because I've blatantly stolen about 4 of them for myself already, and that's me not even really been thinking about what else would I like. And these are not really pedals as such, just a switch, but really useful, really good for a double neck guitar. And it's like I don't think anybody actually makes this pedal because I don't think anyone's got a double neck guitar that's got 2 outputs. Right, really? Because most of the time, a double neck you would just assume is going to be, I think 90% of the time it's your Jimmy Page one. You know, it's a 12 string and a 6 string. They're both guitars. They can both go into a guitar amp, no problem. So there's not really that much point in having the 2 outputs. It's when you're trying to mix like a bass and a guitar, or an acoustic and a guitar, you want them to go into different amps. I should keep repeating that like it's a pure rule. You can't plug a bass into a guitar amp. You can, but it just doesn't sound as good. The easiest way around it's like that. Yeah, so just half an hour this week. Maybe some questions, maybe in this video or during the week or something. Or if anyone's got interesting things I can talk about. I don't know how many more there were on here. I think it was quite someone asking they want another one of these double neck door ones. The thing is, it's like I'm going to take it to the studio. I'm in the studio Monday night. I'm going to take this down and use it because me and the bass player have been writing a song, and he keeps borrowing my guitar to show me bits what he's kind of written as a guitar part. So I'm going to give him the double neck bass and guitar, so he can go, we can work out what the best chords are together, where he can just play on the double neck, then we can play the song, he can play the bass. And I'm just going to take this down because I can't have somebody else playing a double neck and me not playing it. That's not right. Maybe get some photos as well. That'd be pretty cool if there's 2 of us with double necks and we could be with a band with 2 double neck guitars. That doesn't happen very often. Also, nobody's got like a thin line double neck acoustic telly, and nobody's got a Ibanez Destroyer bass and guitar because it was made by me. So I don't think I'll be making any more of these, and I don't think I'm going to sell it. I said last week I was thinking of selling it, but actually when you just put strings on it now it's working, I can sort of see a use for it, especially if I'm going to be gigging as well. It's like if we've got one song that needs an acoustic, it's worthwhile, or maybe one song that needs an acoustic and a couple I can squeeze an acoustic bit into, then it's kind of worth using it. I think it's just as a more showmanshipy thing. your band, the band's going to stick out. It's like, which band was that? It's like the guy was playing a double-neck Telecaster. Never seen one of them before, so it'd be good for. I was going to say attracting groupies, but that's not going to happen. Not for my YouTube channel anyway. I was looking at the male to female ratio of my subscribers and stuff, and it's not. I'm not really that appealing to the ladies, unfortunately. I think it's 4% or something like that. So, and I've now put a piece of paper here, which I don't. And now I can see. I'm not sure it's actually come out. It says like and subscribe, because everybody always in their videos always says, please like and subscribe, and I just always skip past it. I don't like asking for things, but if you could like and subscribe, that'd be rocking. Because the more likes and more subscribes I get, the more I get shoved to the front of the algorithm, and the more I get views. So if you join now, you can talk to me when I'm still, before I've got 10,000 subscribers and don't have time to answer questions. Now's the time to ask. Rock on!